All right. So our very special guest, Miss Lynn Schmaltz with Plasma Energy Solution is back. Lynn, great to see you. How you doing today?
Hi, Sean. Thanks for having me back. I'm doing great. I haven't got any complaints. I told somebody yesterday who was griping about weather, I said, listen, let's bottle it up and we'll save it for January 24th when it's 20 below, and we'll open up our bottle of 90-degree watt air.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Lynn, I'm just going to start off. I know we always talk about this, but what we're talking about is plasma energy solution, which is vials of plasma energy water. Now it's summertime, so all those lucky people are going to get a vial, and but not necessarily a pad or anything. They're all very effective. They all work just the same, but this goes through a process with using a GANS, which is gas in an atomic nanosolid state. And basically, what it does is it infuses water with plasma energy. Water being able to retain memory holds on to that plasma energy. And I had a call earlier today, actually, from a person that said, "Hey, I can't remember what the question was, but I told them all you need is this little vial. Just tape it along the side of a glass container. 8 hours, that container has the exact same energy." So I always think it was little mini plasma batteries. That's plasma energy water, but it works very much like a battery would. And for the rest of your adult life, it will charge water. And then Lynn, being the alchemist that she is, will add additional energies to that water. So you can have different waters that are geared with different energies in addition to the plasma that are geared for very specific types of things in the health and wellness category. So, Lynn, how did I do?
Great. And here's another aspect, because people will ask if they can use opaque containers, and the plasma has to travel through clear glass or clear plastic. Now, this is translucent and you can see inside. You can actually see I've got some vials in the bottom. So some people like to put vials inside their container. That's okay. I just don't take the lid off and take a big swig and swallow a vial. you
Right.
know, but otherwise, when you're setting up your plasma energy, you don't want to be using crockery or stainless steel. And a lot of us have the stainless steel water filters, which are great. Well, take that filtered water and then put it in your clear glass or clear plastic container that you're drinking the water out of.
Right. And so, in addition to drinking the water, we were actually just talking, we'll get to this story shortly, but you can put the water in a spray bottle and then you can spray it around your property, around your doorways. It's very good for, in many cases, repelling little flying creatures. Lynn actually does have a solution for mosquitoes, which I've had great testimonials from some of our clients with dispelling negative energy. But you create plasma energy fields, and tornadoes and storms and all those things are plasma energy. And there's been a lot of really great stories where those storms and a lot of that stuff, and you're one of the testimonials where it literally went around you, and flooding and things that hit all around you for whatever reason didn't get to you. So when you're dealing with plasma energy fields, it's more than just drinking the water. You can put it in your on your clothes, put it around the house. So many great benefits and so many great uses. And so it is pound for pound, dollar for dollar, the best technology that you can get for the price, because one little vial will last you a lifetime. So Lynn, it's great to have you back, get caught up on new stories. And I always like to start off the videos with that, just for anybody that's catching up that hasn't seen one of our many videos from the past.
Yeah, and that's great. And Sean, people used to ask Dr. Paul, what is plasma energy? And he got that question one time and we were filming, and he looks at the camera and he says, plasma energy is everything and everything is plasma energy. Now we could go on and on with a philosophical discussion, but there you have it.
Yes. Well,
And
and
yeah,
being that I spent a lot of time with Dan Winter, who's a physicist and world renowned, your aura and your consciousness and your soul is plasma energy. and the sun is plasma energy, and 99.9% of the universe is actually plasma energy. So Dr. Paul was actually right on. But if you want it in a more tangible form that you can break down, those would be some good places to start.
Exactly. So, Sean, I was going to let you know, uh, first of all, I don't want to forget this because a friend of mine called and was telling me about it. She's taking like a bowl of plasma energy water when she buys produce, and she lets them sit in the water for around 5 minutes to reduce the effects of the APEEL that's being put on all the fruits and vegetables. I don't know if you've heard that, but
I did not.
it's a not very nice concoction put together by one of our favorite billion trillionaires, whose name you would recognize instantly.
Yes.
So anyway, that
It's just,
yeah.
yeah, it's just so wonderful that all the wonderful things they're doing to make the world a better place, right? And now they've got something new to spray and, whatever. But I don't know. As crazy as it is, sometimes I just have to laugh because it literally is out of that Austin Powers movie where you have the one, the guy that's completely out to destroy the world. And I do always resort back to that for a good laugh because but it's good to be hip to that, and that's a great tip. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And Ben, I'll let you know we're just about to run out of this month, but the specials that we have this month, all the healthy, like healthy brain, healthy collagen, healthy bladder, healthy kidney, there's 14 or 15 of them, and they're buy one and get one of equal value or lesser value for free. And then I also have a buy Heavenly Thunderbolt and get a free Heavenly Protection. So those are two things I have going on. And then as Sean will tell you later, there's always a nice discount if you use USA MedBed, singular, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And as a coupon word, and you get 15% off. So that was a couple of things I wanted to be sure I mentioned. And before we started the recording, I was telling Sean about our newest combination. Do you want me to go ahead with that?
I think you should. It's a great combination. It's a great story.
Well, what happened a few months ago, I think it was in March, is a friend of mine was telling me about her friend who's an elementary school teacher who is just having a tough time saying, I don't know if I can make it to the end of the year. And the problem was the kids were so hateful. They were hateful to each other. They were hateful to her. And it was just day after day of hatefulness. Now, I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but a couple of years ago, they put up some very giant cell towers right by the school. And so I told our mutual friend who was telling me about this, I said, if you think she'll use a spray in her classroom to improve things, I'll make one. So she thought she would, and I went ahead and made it. And about 2 or 3 weeks later, I had a text from the teacher, and she said, I want to thank you. The Everything has gotten so much better. Now, what I had her do was just the combination I put together for her went in a spray bottle, and I gave her one this size. And I said, just go around and spray around the classroom when nobody's there. And we always say to use intention with your plasma energy, whether you're drinking it for yourself or using it however you're using it. So, what ended up happening in the last few weeks, as I'm talking to different family members and friends, they're just saying, gosh, people are getting so divisive and so mean. And I thought back to that and I thought, maybe it's just time to bottle this stuff up for everyone.
Yeah.
So we have Meanness Buster Plus, and that is
Nice.
just it's ready to go out, and I've sent the information off to my website helper. I just and the main ways that I tell people to use it is spray this on your clothing. Just spray a little bit around yourself before you leave the house. Put a little in the car, around the house. Now, if you have family members or pets that are scrapping with each other, spray it in the areas where they spend time. And what you're going to do is change the plasma energy fields. So that's our newest, Sean.
I love that. Not only a great story, but it's addressing an issue right now that I think is directly related to what you were talking about, because anger and all those things are a frequency, and those frequencies can be emitted and put out in the atmosphere. And I know that there's a lot of stuff that's on TV and other places. However, uh, that whole situation with what they're putting next to that school is a uh, that's a blueprint for what's happening around the country right now. And that's the last place we need those things, is sitting right next to kids in a school. And the yeah, so I'm not going to try to go too deep into that, but I don't know what's worse, the fact that they're doing it or the fact that it's happening and we aren't either standing up to it and getting rid of them, or, the fact that we're just so disconnected, we're probably not even paying attention. But that is not the place to be helping out and doing public service for large cell phone companies. They've got plenty of other places they can set that stuff up. And it doesn't have to be right next to where our kids are, who already are exposed to quite a bit of that anyway, with the wireless Wi-Fi and all the other stuff that's also not good for you, when that could all be hardwired. So that's a very timely solution to have out right now in the world.
Well, and there were um, some more suggestions that I gave for that. And I said, let's say there's divisiveness just in the neighborhood. Well, obviously, you're not going to go spray the neighbors, but
Yeah.
what you can do is, I did this recently for another issue, and I soaked rocks. I think at the time I was using peace, I little pea gravel, little rocks. And then I just took them with me on walks. And as I'm going along, I'm just dropping it along the sidewalk. And you want to be adventuresome, well, go through the alley and drop it along the backside. And so there's things that you can do that are non-invasive, inobtrusive, but you're doing what you can to set up better energy fields. I had one man who took the plasma energy, this was, gosh, years ago, and he sprayed popsicle sticks, and then he stuck them around the perimeter of his yard. And he had told me, he said, I don't live in a real nice neighborhood, but what this has done is it's caused the people that are up to monkey business from taking the monkey business in front of my house. They moved across the street. I never said anything to him. And then he said he had a kind of a rough neighbor, and the popsicle sticks went along that fence line. That neighbor moved after a couple months.
Wow.
Now, did he knock on his door and say, I really like you to move? No, he just put the energy fields up. And speaking of the mosquito, Sean, I had some folks last year in Florida tell me the mosquito was combination was not working with and had been working up until that point, but they said, we know that genetically modified mosquitoes were dropped all over the state. And so I suggested to him, I said, well, take your mosquito, and some of them had already put peace with it, and then add, and I gave them a couple of things to add to it. And new tech frequency relief. And the reason for that is if they're genetically modified, there might be an electronic aspect that was added. Frequency. They said it did the trick. And I told them, whatever else you have that you feel you want in that new combination, put it in there. This is where you get to drive your bus. Once you get the plasma energy, use your intention and figure out how you want it to work for you, for your health and for your surroundings.
Right. And that brings up a good point, because on the website, Plasma Energy Solution, there's about 55 to 60 different solutions, different types of plasma energy water. And for somebody like myself now that's been with you for at least, I want to say 3 years or more, I've got like 6, maybe 7 of those. So on our big 5-gallon jugs here at the office, when we replace those, you'll see these strands of tape, and there's multiple plasma energy vials on there. So we're promoting or using multiple different energies with that plasma energy water. And the thing that's beautiful about it is that clean mind, clean mouth, Superman, Superwoman, Heavenly Thunderbolt, so many different ones. But those frequencies, if your body needs them, will bring them in, and they'll modify and do what they need to do. But if your body doesn't need them, they just pass through. So there's no worry about, is that going to be those frequencies. If your body doesn't need it, it just passes right through. If your body does need it, it takes those frequencies and uses those. So having multiple ones on there, if you start doing this, is actually quite normal, I should say, because I know a lot of people like me that do the very same thing.
Well, yes, and sometimes people are concerned, well, if I have Superwoman Plus and Superman Plus, and I'm the woman in the house, am I going to be affected by what's in the Superman? Your body is only going to pick what it needs. It's like going to a fancy buffet, and you may not take everything on the buffet. Well, you can't. There's no room on the plate. And you may go back for seconds. But the point is, you only take what you want off of the buffet. Nobody says that you have to have the steamed broccoli, right? Or whatever. Right. And so it's up to your body to make the choice. Once you put the water, drink the water, you've done your part.
Yeah.
And you add intention to it. And Dr. Paul was really big on intention. He was and he was right about that, because water carries memory. So water carries intention. And that was shown by Masaru Emoto in the Messages in Water, with all the things that he did, putting messages on jars of water and then looking at them the next day under the microscope. The positive messages looked like beautiful snowflakes. The negative messages looked like blobs, pretty ugly blobs. So that's a way that you have control over your plasma energy and what you want it to do.
It's really actually such a great group of studies that Mr. Emoto did, because it really shows, number one, the power of the mind, and projecting that thought, it can actually change the molecular structure of water. It shows how powerful we are. And as human beings that are 70% water or more, how the water in our own body is affected by the thoughts and the energy that we carry. And therefore the anger, the frustration, all those things, it's I guess in our world it's normal, but to try to get that out of your system and restore yourself back into a happy, loving mode is so important on so many different levels.
Well, exactly, Sean. And consciousness, I was watching some information and reading about it, and it is said that all our cells and all the atoms, all the little contents of the atoms, there's appears to be all this empty space. Well, it's filled with consciousness. So now I can take it a step farther. Is plasma energy consciousness, and is consciousness plasma energy? So what you're doing is you're taking control of the consciousness in your body with what you want. And that's the intention that you're using.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And, we were talking about this is actually a great call because we're getting a lot of stories from all the videos that we've done in the past. But we were talking about wellness centers and med spas and different places there that, are bringing people in to, give them better overall health and wellness. Well, nothing starts better than whatever your water source is, wherever you're providing water for clients. Hydration obviously is very important at these places, but to have the plasma energy water is another layer of the health and wellness that you can provide to people. And having your water supply with a vial or more vials right on the side of it is a great way to, get people into your center and, get them hydrated and start providing technology right away to bundle in with all the other things that you're doing. And Lynn, if I might say, since I haven't really touched on this, the vials range from, like, some of them are $30. They're very inexpensive. Ones that have like Heavenly Thunderbolt has what, like 30 different energies in it. I mean, it's an extensive list of energies that you've put in there that are maybe a few $100s. And you do get a 15% discount if you mention USA MedBed at checkout. So that saves you 15%. But, when you get the vial, the one thing I always love is that you get the sheet that breaks down and shows you all the different energies that are in each water. So it's very well put together. It's very well thought out, and it's very informative. That when you get it, you get a very clear understanding of what's in it and what energies you've got in that particular vial.
And Sean, I have free reports. The blogs on my website are like one long page, so it starts with the newest ones, and you just keep scrolling and scrolling through them. But then I also have free reports, and one of those free reports was by an Iranian doctor named Dr. Manjalij. And under the Shah, he had been put in prison. Well, people would come to him, prisoners, doctor, I have this going on. Well, I'm a prisoner. I don't have anything to give you. So what he started doing was telling people, drink plenty of water, drink plenty of water. Now, he was in the prison for over 2 years. And in the books he has written, he said over 3,000 people got better by being well hydrated and drinking enough water. And the point he made is, I'll give an example. If your body weight is 150 pounds, you would drink half of that 150 in ounces of water a day. So that would be 75 ounces. And I I know a lot of people just don't drink that much. And part of it is because maybe the water that they're drinking tastes pretty nasty.
Yeah.
And so that's the point of using filtered or distilled water to when you set up your plasma energy water. And I want to clarify something that I can't erase. I said spring water. What I meant is water coming out of the side of a mountain, a mountain spring. Well, people took it to mean the spring water that's labeled in the grocery store. And not all those waters are what they're cracked up to be. I'm sure some of them are legitimate and really good, and some aren't. People have told me, well, I was using spring water, but the water seems a little funky. And I said, stop using that water and get distilled or filtered. And once they did that, there was no problem. So just making that point, not all spring waters are equal.
Yeah, exactly. And that's true. And I've had somebody run around with colored drops. They drop drops in the water, and then depending on the alkaline acidity or what have you, it'll change the color of the water so you can see what the acidity level is. and whether it's really alkaline or not. And, there's a lot of waters that tout themselves to be high alkaline and, pH, whatever. And then you put that in there. And so, I think you're very right on track when you say that not all of them are standing up to what they're touting, perhaps on the label. So that's a very good thing to, incorporate into your day-to-day routine.
Exactly. And Sean, back to what you were saying, you tape the vials to the outside of your container. And I do the same, but mine is on the corner of a cabinet where it's easy to bump into it. So I've just put clear bubble wrap around them so I don't, knock them off or whatever. And that has worked fine. Now my sister's an artist. She was here visiting and she's going, oh, I just take a glue gun and put a little bit of the glue on the outside of the container and then stick the vial to it. And I'm going, who knew?
Wow. That's what I
Yeah,
love about, the ingenuity of people.
exactly. Exactly.
So, Lynn, I want to talk about some of the benefits of plasma energy water. I think we've hit on quite a few, but over the years of providing this, I really like getting feedback from people. You've had hundreds, if not thousands, of letters since you've been doing it, but there's many stories that I've gotten back from people. Many times it's increased energy, better performance, whatever it might be. But I'll never forget the woman who called me in Texas, and she had the plasma energy water, and one of her friends was getting chemo, and she was really like drained, like physically, mentally drained, and she had the plasma energy water, and this woman drank it, and within an hour, she's like, "Wow, I feel like I've got energy again, and I can't believe it." And the next day, she called her up and said, "Hey, can I come back and get some more of that plasma energy water from you?" And the beauty about this, which, we'll get into and explain, is that once this vial has been on the side of that water jug, and once this plasma energy has been put into that water, the water in that jug has the same energy level as the water in the vial. So technically, you could get a couple little vials or a little jar and put some of that water in there, and you could give this out to friends and family, and they in turn then could use that vial and they could, put it on the side of their little container. So, like you and Dr. Paul said, maybe not the best business model ever, but it is the gift that keeps on giving, because you can literally, once your water source has gotten this taped on there and it's gotten that, you can literally give these away to other people and share the love. And for a wellness center, if you've got that water in your place and you want to give out a little gift bag as something for people to take home, that's a great gift bag idea, is to go ahead and put a little heart and some little items in there, maybe a crystal or two, and some plasma energy water, and send people home with some love, and send them home with something that's going to help them for the rest of their lives.
Well, exactly, Sean. And when you give the water to someone, it has the same potency as the water in the mother source that I have here that I put in the vials and send to you. Now, in the winter time, because we live up north and we have freezing temperatures, I switch over to BPA-free plastic vials. And I do that because the glass freezes and breaks, and then everybody's unhappy. And when the energies have been sent out of the country, I also do not send any vials out. I send pairs of patches. And you can do pairs of patches. I show you how to do it on our website, plasmaenergysolution.com. And if you want to just mail those like in a letter to someone, you can make it that way. So, there's lots of ways to use it. And Sean, when we were testing the energy fields of the plasma energy, we tested, first of all, the vials, a group of vials, and we were using dowsing rods. And as we walked backwards, the rods were open, and when we got out of the energy range, the rods closed, and it was all over 30 feet. Well, then we took something that was the patches, which are approximately this size, the size of both of these, and it was still the same distance. I
Yeah.
had a small pair of patches I'd made that was this size. It was the same distance. It did not matter what the size was. So, and we didn't know what to expect. I just thought, well, there's more, there's more with the first, and this is the smallest. To me, I thought it would just be different, but no, the fields were all the same.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm glad because this is segueing into another really, really large benefit of this is stiffness, soreness, arthritis, pain, different things. So when you spray the plasma energy water on, say, a Band-Aid or a wrap or a sock, if you've got a bad ankle, that plasma energy literally will go in and it is helping reduce inflammation, stiffness, soreness. Now, many times, Lynn, over the years we've talked, you could put two band-aids on one side, one band-aid on the other, and the lesser energy will draw the more energy will draw the lesser energy back and forth. And you can literally spray it on band-aids, put it directly on areas with inflammation. And then, of course, that you can use it on your blankets, your pillows, and everything else. But that is another very well documented way of using plasma energy water that you've gotten hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonials. I've had dozens and dozens over the years, but so many people have used it also for that as another alternative use in addition to drinking and everything else we've spoke about.
Right. And, talking about testimonials, I had an email this morning, and it starts out, first off, I want to say I love the plasma energy waters I purchased. I had a few dying flower plants that, despite everything I tried, weren't perking up. I started watering them with plasma water, and after 2 weeks, they are thriving and beautiful. And then she goes on, I started giving it to a 4-year-old cat with stomatitis that I recently adopted. Peaches the cat had no teeth as they had to remove them all, and she was shaved down due to severe matting from all the secretions. She had drooled all over herself. Well, long story short, due to no teeth, I had to give her soft food mixed with water. And so I used the plasma water and included the mix of the energy waters I bought. I'm thrilled to say all the checkups have been spectacular. No depot shots for inflammation, and she's gaining weight and plays like a kitten. Um, and then she says, I infused our 5-gallon drinking water bottles so the whole family can benefit. And, a lot of people do get those, Sean, the big bottles of water from the grocery
Yeah.
store. And I even have a couple as backup if there was a water issue. And
Mhm.
I taped onto them a plasma energy station container that I just put to the outside, and they've been sitting there for quite some time. But
Mhm.
she says her husband has Hodgkin's lymphoma, which has come back for the third time in 11 years. And so she was talking about our cancer uh, combination. And I did write back and suggest to her Cancer Plus might be a good choice. It would be one I would use if I was in that situation because it has the addition of the energies of fenbendazole, ivermectin, and more things that had come out as the research had come out. So that's just that aside. And then she had she had another question because she helps take care of granddaughters, and one had a kidney transplant as an infant. Because the biological mother, this is an adopted child, the biological mother had been a drug user. Well, she was asking me about Paul's improvements. And so for medical people, Sean, they'll understand this. First of all, he was type 1 diabetic. You're not going to, and that was diagnosed when he was 44. They used to call it juvenile onset, but 44 sounds a little past juvenile. Um, once you're type 1 diagnosis, you do not get off of insulin. But what he was able to do was reduce the amount of insulin his body needed. And he kept close track on blood sugars every day. Then the other issue was kidney function. And when we started studying the plasma energy, his transplanted kidney at the time was about 10 years old, and the function was starting to inch up so that he had, it was the creatinine clearance was at 22. 25 says your kidney has just about failed. So when he started using the water, his function tests got better, and he got it to the point where it was 1.7, and that was what it tested at the day after it was transplanted. So that was a really big deal with him. And I think some people might have the attitude, well, if it did all this great stuff, why did he die? Well, he was 79. He'd outlived the age of his parents when they had died. And as he had told me for months, and you can see it in the videos that we did, he just said, my body's wearing out. It's the long-term effects of the drugs you need to take for maintaining the transplant and diabetes take a toll on the body.
Mm.
So he did live to be 79 and a half. His 80th birthday would have been in April that year, and he died in December. So, the quality of his life was good up till the very end. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't gifted that.
Oh, absolutely, especially in this day and age, and being that I'm still doing a lot in the medical equipment world, I'm getting calls every day from people that need very high-end ICU type equipment for home. And it's interesting because I'm learning so much about how important it is to stay active well into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and longer. And my grandmother lived to be 104, and
Wow.
she still every day would be up doing yoga, doing walks. I mean, she was sharp as a tack literally up until a month or two before she passed. And she told me, she said, my parents, the minute that they stopped becoming active and they stopped moving and being active, literally within months or a year, they were gone. And she said, I'll never stop exercising. I'll never stop doing my thing. And she was really the matriarch of our family. She was the oldest of the oldest of the kids. And so, she outlived just about everybody that was, around her. And she was actually a very good living example of exactly how to live your life and how to stay active and do all those things. And, I can understand that with the pharmaceuticals and a lot of the other stuff that Dr. Paul had to take, on a day-to-day basis, how that could really, hurt you. However, he looks damn good in all those videos. I mean, he's sharp as a tack and he looked good. And, you've got a huge video library with you and Dr. Paul that, will live on forever to still give information out to people. So that's really wonderful.
Right. We have about 4 dozen videos that are over on YouTube under Lynn Schmaltz or Schmaltz Patricia Lynn channels. Now, there's a couple of them that have been, AI didn't like something that was said in a couple of them, so they fell off the radar. But I also have a lot of those are on our website. And then I have another channel on Brighteon under Lynn Schmaltz or Plasma Energy Solution. And gosh, Sean, I probably have, I know I have at least 200 videos up over on that channel.
You do. Yeah, you've got a great video library, a lot of great information. Um, well, Lynn, Before we say goodbye to everybody, and this has been a great call because I haven't had you on in a couple of minutes. I told you I was doing a lot of traveling, so it's always great to have you back on and catch up with you. But before we sign off, is there anything else that you'd like to say or anything you'd like to finish with?
Yes, I made a note to myself. My birthday month is next month. Now, if people want to send me an email, if people make an order and they put in the comments what they think my age is going to be, if they hit it right, they're going to get an extra 10% off.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, I've got to put your email address now down at the bottom. I always do the plasma energy solution, the website. For anybody that's out there, we send people directly to Lynn's website to order the products. There is a link that you can look at, and like we always say, use your intuition to pick out what you think might be relevant for you. And you might start off with one or two and come back a month or two later and get more, like most of us do. But that is a very unique discount. I love that. So
Well,
I, I'm
I was thinking about birthday month and what I was going to do, and we were going to talk, and I just have to say, about 54 years ago, well, maybe it was 52 years ago, Paul handed me a Johnson bandage box. Now, he was a veterinarian, right? So this was his way to wrap a birthday gift. And I'm wearing that gift. I still have it after all that time. And it was the bracelet, earrings, and necklace that he had made. And we were in New Mexico at the time, and turquoise and silver is a big deal. And so just a little piece of nostalgia there.
I love that. That's great nostalgia. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for your time. It's great to see you again. I'll have your information down here at the top and the bottom. We're going to put now the email address to get your extra 10% off. Guess Lynn's age. That is hilarious. And a good sense of humor goes a long way in this world. And also, when you go on Lynn's website, sign up for her newsletter. It's a great newsletter, great information. Lynn, you do a great job putting that out. Always a lot of good stuff, keeping everybody on top of what's going on in the world. And thank you so much for your time. Now, stick with it. When I sign off, stay with me, and we'll hang out for a few minutes afterwards. But thanks again for your time. Have an awesome, awesome rest of your week, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Bye bye.